I want people to exhale when they come. So the site is really to engage in an exhale and a pause and a slowing down and a psychoeducation. So if they never come again, maybe they can walk away with one piece of information that helps shift their thinking, their perspective, in a new way to engage with a family member who might be suffering.
In this day and age, digital media is everywhere. Like social media websites, like we spend all our time on our phones, on our laptops, it's everywhere. And it's already being linked to like quite a high rise in mental health issues in people, in kids, in like Gen Zs, in adults. It's already quite a difficult area, I think. And there's a lot of research, and we don't really know how to address it and how to handle it. There's a lot of regulations in place. They're limiting it for people, for younger people in Australia. But, we basically, it's the Wild West. It's kind of like tobacco when it came in. So I have loved working on your team because you use digital media with a real mindfulness and a real care. It's like everything that you put up is meant to be producing wellness, not taking away from that. And your website is a big part of that. I'd love to hear just a little bit about your website and about the website launch, about why you designed it the way you did, and what you're hoping people would walk away from with it.
So when we think about how SilverBell wants to be forward facing to anybody who comes to engage in it, whether it's a potential client, a family member, a friend, or somebody who is just interested in understanding what SilverBell does or what health and wellness is, what is a recovery agency, what is a company that helps manage family systems and teams, I want people to exhale when they come. So the site is really to engage in an exhale and a pause and a slowing down and a psychoeducation. So if they never come again, maybe they can walk away with one piece of information that helps shift their thinking, their perspective, in a new way to engage with a family member who might be suffering. Because we most of the time we don't have what we call the identified patient coming on our site. We have friends and family members who are very concerned about their loved one who are just trying to gather information. So I really want to be a giver in data and information and articles and white papers so people can come and feel enriched, not bamboozled into sign up here. And yes, this is a for-profit company, but I'm not interested in the bottom line. I'm really interested in educating a family system. And if we're the right fit, then we'll have a courtesy consultation, but it shouldn't feel like you have to move forward in this site and you have to sign up in order to move forward. I want people to feel freely. They can come and go without any gotcha.
How do you want people to feel as they kind of use your website?
Relief, exhale, like the shoulders should come down. I have a lot of our images from our family cattle ranch in Montana of our horses. So it's all of our imaging now, which really was exciting to film and give a natural feel of just nourishment. You'll notice that the horses are in the mountains, in the field, nourishing their bodies. They're eating. I specifically chose those moving images of horses nourishing them because naturally, as an animal, which we are, we want to nourish our body and we're grazing in green pastures, so to speak. So I really want someone to feel like they'll get nourished, whether they stay on our website or they hire us or they move through us. We have clinical advisors and you'll see them in different countries. We're so grateful to collaborate and seek their supervision on different clinical teams, depending on the fit for the family. And so, each country has its own ethos of understanding. You can't take an American mindset into the UK, and you can't take a UK mindset into the United States, nor you can in the United Arab Emirates, which we're seeing a lot more engagement there now as the family systems are waking up that there's a systemic mental health issue and it does not discriminate. And we just want to gently educate the families because as a mom, there's a lot of shame when you raise your family and you're not going to get it right. And I don't even know what right is. It's just maybe being aware that there might be different ways to engage with your child. Because I love what Gabor Mate says is that each child is not born into the same family. So I have three children, but they're not born into the same family. There were different times, different parent. I was a different parent when I had my first to my last and so on and so forth. So I really want to help educate and eradicate shame and stigma from parenting because it's usually the parents that come to engage with our services. And if I can make them feel like, okay, I have an opportunity to figure things out, and there's no, hey, you messed up your child mentality, because I think there's a lot of finger pointing at parents. And yes, we have a role and responsibility, but we're going to work and educate them together and not say, well, if you would have done this different, your child wouldn't be in this position. And I think that's a false reality that's out in the public.
Tell us about how you approach digital, like online, the online world, I guess, whenever you have a client, whenever you have somebody in early recovery.
We have learned that when we take resources away that would aid in a client's activation, and that could be different things for different clients. It could be phone, certainly. It could be social media. It could be resources like money. It could be credit cards. It could be a certain social network that needs to be re-looked at by the identified patient to say, how is this friendship helping you? But yes, a common denominator is the social media, and usually social media is always on a phone or an iPad, and we find that it's the best use of our time and the resources of the family to put some protocols in place that are going to aid in safety. In our navigation plans, we have different stages of change, what the client is clinically indicated and ready for. So maybe in the beginning, we've eliminated resources such as phones and money, credit cards. And there comes a time where, especially why our company's been engaged, because we are integrating the loved one back into society, whether it's school, a job, an internship, and they are going to need to be accessible. But an iPhone is quite empowering. It's a super hardware that can access the world at any moment, any time. So we've found that flip phones are a great entry point. And yeah, it can be like, are you kidding me? But actually, when the client realizes how the weapon of the phone is so powerful and can derail them momentarily, even for a healthy person like me, I like to think I'm healthy. But the point is that I want to be mindful about how I use my own phone. And that's something that we're helping gauge our clients to be mindful of their nervous system and how it's responding to what's happening on the phone when they do get an iPhone back.
Can you talk a little bit about how you see broadly, obviously everybody's different, but like broadly, how do you see people's nervous system reacting to phones?
Unfortunately, it's quite addictive and it hits a lot of the same neuroreceptors as alcohol, amphetamines, opiates. And it's as the brain is still developing until some studies say 26 and 27 now, with our young adults, we want to be really mindful that each time they get a dopamine hit, let's say from an iPhone, if we're not helping them eliminate that and helping create new neural pathways that are stimulated by natural environments such as friendships, healthy friendships, exercise, meditation, learning how to engage in a healthy conversation that might be challenging. I think that's one of our biggest skill building is teaching our clients how to not shy away from challenging conversations and walking through that and what that feels like on the other side of it. And so how does that kind of play into helping them regulate when they do get a phone is that they can then pay attention to when they're activated and when they're not activated. And so when they get a phone back, we slowly integrate one app at a time because people are on Instagram. I'm on Instagram, and I think Instagram is great. I think social media apps can be very helpful, but we want to help educate the user on what it feels like to be engaging. Like I actually limit myself when I go on Instagram. I probably go on maybe 2 to 3 minutes at most. I do not get into scrolling. In fact, no, I do. I do it sporadically throughout the day, but I'll do it maybe once every other hour. And I really try to limit myself because if I feel myself jonesing, let's say, to see what's happened or how many likes something's getting, because I want to resonate with what the audience wants. So I do it more as I'm trying to educate myself of what's landing. But I really try to limit myself because it actually doesn't feel good to be scrolling on Instagram. This was about a year ago when I first got on, I think, or when I first got on, I started understanding how it worked and playing with it. And after 15 minutes, it did not feel good. It just didn't. And I do a lot of work on my nervous system. I work in polyvagal theory a lot and understanding it. So I know myself and I know what feels appropriate.
Hmm. I guess final question for me is, obviously, yes, you have your own Instagram, and what is your ethos there? Like, what is it that you want people to be feeling? Like, similar to the website, like, what sort of online presence do you want to be for people?
Yeah, thank you for that. And it's so important that when people land on Natasha Silverbell on Instagram, that they walk away feeling a little bit more educated about what resonates for them. So I also want people to exhale. I do a lot of nature sounds. Like I love posting what does peace sound like, and it's water dripping in a waterfall, or it's, the ocean or the sun shining, and to bring us back to nature and to really exhale. And then putting some great quotes out there, quotes that resonate with me. And as I began my Instagram feed, I didn't think it would be that impactful. What has happened over this last year, as I think you're well aware of, is that people are like, keep posting. I really resonate with your posts. Keep talking. I really care about your perspective. And when people look to you as somebody who they really look up to, I really take that serious. That's really an important position that I want to be really mindful that one, it's inclusive. Two, it's not condescending or room or cheeky or just to get a quick like. It really is that people would exhale and have a sense of exhaling self and well-being and going, yeah, what are boundaries to me? What feels healthy for me in a healthy boundary? I think that's probably the biggest piece I get a lot of because we give so much. I think we're all givers. I really do. I think there are takers in the world, but I think when you're a giver, you can really be taken advantage of. And um, giving away, but also learning how to receive is kind of where my mindset is recently.